Welcome to your community. This is your hometown. This is Walton Entertainment. This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.
Thank you for watching. I'm Dina Huff. I'm the executive director for the Partnership for Families Charity. And I'm here today at Faith in Serving Humanity with my bestest friend, Cindy Little, executive director of FISH. And this is our third day of collecting donated items for the hurricane relief victims. So I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit about what has come in, what's gone out, and what is still to come. So, Cindy?
Okay, first of all, thank you to the community. It has been overwhelming how much has been brought. It's just a steady stream, which we're very thankful for. We've already sent one truckload out yesterday with IMAC. We want to thank them for coming and getting that. And we're setting up to get a second load out. So that load is going down south to the folks in South Georgia. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what's happened. A lot of it is because we just can't get our heads wrapped around it, but farmers have lost thousands of acres of cotton crops, acres of pine trees. A lot of people don't consider pine trees as farming, but it is. And a lot of times that farmer can't insure pine trees. So we also heard of a friend of my husband's that had 20 chicken houses that were all leveled. That's millions of dollars gone for him. So, and that's just a little bit of what we see. And then when you go up to North Carolina, bless their little hearts, I mean, everything's just leveled. So when you say, well, Cindy, what do they need? They need everything. So basically what we're listening is, as we get the word, they're needing tents, they're needing charcoal, they're needing lighter fluid, they're needing baby diapers, baby formula, they're needing wipes and things like that, pop-top cans, because guys, they don't have can openers. There's, it's not anything like that. Protein bars, work gloves, as they do start rebuilding. They're going to need
first aid kits.
First aid kits, definitely. One of the things they're asking for is chewable Benadryl. Yeah. Because of the different things that they're dealing with through now the mold and things that are starting, because it's still staying pretty warm. So blankets are really good. They're saying no clothes. We learned through our efforts through Katrina, through Houston, and different places that we've helped before, that they say what happens is those items end up in the landfill. And so please hang on to your clothes. But if you have any kind of sleeping bags, blankets, those kinds of things, they definitely could use. So I'm just in awe of how generous everybody is. We were spared. And I think it's appropriate that those of us that were blessed to not get hit with it are the ones to help those that did get such devastation. We know God's in control. We know He loves us, and He says He'll never leave us nor forsake us. We cling to that. We pray for our friends, and that as they're trying to find family members and things, and the devastation and the loss of life, which is the worst part of it all. Whole families just wiped out. So continue with the prayers that they're priceless. These families have got a long way to go, and just pray for the helicopters that have been fantastic going in and dropping insulin to people, dropping supplies to people, airlifting people off what's left of their homes. We just pray for their safety. Pray for those that are taking their pack mules and things to get to people that they can't get to. They're on four-wheelers. Some families are having to hike 11 miles just to get up and check on their mom and dad. And so just so many wonderful things are happening, but at the same time, a whole lot of devastation. So thank you guys for all that you're doing. And we have a beautiful community here, a very giving community. And on behalf of Fish and the partnership, we say thank you and God bless.
Thank you all for showing up and showing out, because
Yes.
we've been working hard, but it's been worth it. It's been so worth it
Absolutely.
to work alongside of all of our partners that just come together when we have situations such as this. And we want to help, but this is how we can help right now.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what we can do later as well. So thank you all. I mean, it's so appreciative to know that you have a community that comes together in times of need like this. So
Absolutely.
we love you and we appreciate you.
Yes.
So thank you. And if you ever have any needs or questions for us at the partnership, you can always give me a call on my direct line. It's 770-207-3175. Or if you ever have any questions for Fish, reach out. They have a wonderful website you can go to, and you can volunteer even when there's not a disaster happening. They need volunteers consistently, every day,
Yes.
daily, because they get donations of household goods and other things, and just need volunteers in every aspect of the Fish ministry.
Hands and feet.
So, thank you, Cindy, for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Dina. Dina's been here working tirelessly these 2 days, and it's hot. But, that's nothing to what our friends in North Carolina and South Georgia are having to go through. So, God bless you guys, and thanks again.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Hi everybody, my name is Jake Connor. I'm the Family and Consumer Sciences agent here in Walton County. Today I wanted to highlight some of our upcoming radon programming. So if you have children between the ages of 9 and 14, we would love to have them enter our radon poster contest. Those submissions are due by November 1st. Folks can contact the office if they have any questions. Also, we would love for folks to come purchase a radon test. We have a few more left for $10. These tests can help you protect your family, as radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer and a really big problem here in Walton County. We encourage families to test their home once every 2 years, so if you've tested in the past, it may be time to test again. Thanks and have a great day.
Hi, I'm Vicki Gasaway, the Director for Walton County Senior Citizens here in Monroe, and we're happy to have you join us here today on Walton Wise. I want to tell you about a few things that are going on in case you're not aware. We actually have 3 sites in Walton County. One at Monroe as the home office here, and we have one in Loganville and in Social Circle as our satellite centers. We serve lunch Monday through Thursday, and then Friday is our non-traditional senior center, in which we go out and do Friday flings. We've done everything from going to J. Moore Farms to Farm View and Madison to having lunch or breakfast at one of our local establishments. Just a variety of things. We are going to movies. We're doing that on Friday. So we have a lot of things going on that if you're not one who might want to come in and just sit and do the activities that we have, and they're fun too, but you may want to come and do a Friday fling, so we'd welcome you for that. But just to tell you a little bit more, this Thursday, upcoming Thursday on the 10th, we'll be having a health fair here. Now, if you don't have insurance, if you're 60 or older, you qualify for senior services. So if you don't have insurance and you need a flu shot, and I recommend that everybody get that flu shot, because if you get it, and it can just wear your system down, and we need you to stay healthy so you can come and join in the fun with us. But we do offer the flu shots at no charge, but if you have insurance, bring those and we'll copy the front and back of that. The health department is going to be here administering those. We have people who will come from Walton, Piedmont Walton, and they're going to be doing the stroke screenings. We have blood pressure checks. We have somebody from Athens that's coming in to talk about assistive devices. So if you're having difficulty maybe with your vision and you have a problem with using the utensils, they have some ideas for you. There are so many things out there that you might not have thought about. So if you have a loved one that's going through that, or you are yourself, we welcome you to come down here that day. It's going to be between 8:30 and noon. And if you're here till noon, you need to stay and have lunch with us too. We cook those 4 days a week on site. And I think today we're having barbecue sandwiches and baked beans, coleslaw. So it's not shabby food, it's pretty good. So we'd welcome you to come in. We take a lot of trips throughout the year, overnight trips. So for example, this year we have been to Myrtle Beach. We take a short cruise to let people get the feel for whether they like that or not. We just got back from Savannah and spending a few days there, and that was a marvelous trip. I saw a lot of the historic area, just a lot of fun things going on. And then for New Year's, we're cruising to Hawaii. So we've got a lot of things. We have a lot of younger seniors here, and we have some seniors who just like to come in and eat and fellowship. So our place is built for you to do whatever you want to do. We've had pickleball going on. We have dances. So if you're not coming here, you're missing out on some fun. And we would welcome you to come in. If you are the spouse of somebody who is 60 or older, but you're not quite there, you can still join. So if you have any questions, we'd love for you to come down and check us out. Or you can call our phone number at 770-267-6589. We're just waiting here for you to have some fun with us, so come join us. Thanks so much for joining us today, and have a great one.
Hello, I'm Kenny Sargent with Keep Walton Beautiful in the Walton County Recycling Center. I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Staying super busy here at the center. We're getting ready for our Rivers Alive event here in a few weeks, and excited about that. We'll report the numbers and volunteers and what all we got done with the event once we get through that. We've also already scheduled our America Recycles Day paint collection event. That will be Saturday, November 16th from 8 a.m. to noon right here at the Recycling Center. The prices for bringing in paint will remain the same again this year. It's $3 per gallon container of latex paint, $5 per gallon container of oil-based paint. We're going to try to advertise this the best we can. I know paint is one of those products that's super hard to get rid of. Nobody wants it. It's really a really good opportunity to get rid of your paint for a very cheap price. Any of you that have ever tried to get rid of it before and found someone to take it have probably found out how expensive it can be to properly get rid of your paint. So it is an excellent opportunity. Call us for any questions about the event that we can answer. But we are looking forward to it, and also we've just started trying to work out a date for getting another document destruction day scheduled. Haven't done that yet, but we'll keep you posted on that one going forward. So be on the lookout for that. And the other thing, I guess I just wanted to mention was it's getting to be that time of year. People are starting to get up leaves, cut back their crepe myrtles and all of that. And I can tell you we've already had to turn around a ton of cars that are coming through here trying to bring us those items. And just a reminder, we cannot accept leaves, limbs, grass clippings, any of that stuff can't be accepted here. They simply won't take it from us. So we're having to turn around vehicles and send them to the nearest inert landfill in the county. So just a reminder, all those yard debris and stuff like that, they have to go to an inert landfill. Give us a call if you don't know which direction to take off to find one or whatever. We can direct you to the nearest one to you. Again, our number down here is 770-267-1421. Be happy to help you out with that. Be happy to answer any questions you have about environmental questions, litter, any of that. We'd love to get you started recycling. So come out and see us. Give us a call. We look forward to keeping you updated on our cleanups coming up and our events that we're trying to get scheduled. And until next time, take care.
Hi, I'm Jody Johnson. I'm here with another recreation report. I hope that you've registered for your basketball season coming up. If your child wanted to play basketball, we have finished registration. If you call one of our local offices and see if they have a spot available for you, there may be a couple here and there that we could fill in, a couple of rosters, but a lot of our evaluations and practices are about to start here in a couple weeks. So if you do get this and your child wants to play basketball, call quick and we'll see if we can get you on a team. So we have about close to 750 people that have registered that'll be going through that process here in the next week or two. A lot of our fall sports, we had to stop a little bit from the storm coming in, so we missed a couple of days there. We're trying to make up some of those games, but before the school goes on fall break, the second week in October, we'll be finishing all of our fall sports except for our football and cheerleading program, and a lot of that will end up the 1st of November. So we have a lot of fall sports that are coming to an end, and as the weather starts to cool down, it's a great time to go out to the park. So I would encourage everyone, find a park near you on our website. You can go out and you can walk on some of our nature trails and outdoor trails. We try to keep those up the best we can this time of year with all the leaves starting to fall and some limbs coming out. So be careful if you're out in some of those areas. So we appreciate going to our website at waltoncountyga.gov. It's the best place to get all the information. Some of our leisure programs that we're doing, we've just finished I think it's our 3rd craft fair. We had one down in Social Circle and a lot of people came to that. We had close to 30 different vendors that come out and made different crafts and wanted to display those, and you can purchase some of that stuff from those guys, so it's very exciting with the craft fair. The Crystal Park pickleball courts are still under construction. We're getting real close. They're just about to, they ended up adding to the remodel of that entire building, so it's taking a little longer to finish. And then the county's having a countywide meeting there in the next week or so. So the end of October, beginning of November, we should finally go in and put the pickleball courts down on the surface, and that's when we'll have those available for you. I know it's been really tough sometimes to go out to Between or to Crystal Park and get on a court just anytime. So when the weather's good in the morning and the weather's great in the evening, that's when people want to play, and that's what brings out the big crowd. So if you're wanting to play pickleball, this time of year it's not too bad in the middle of the day. On the weekends you can usually get on the courts, but I have heard there's a big wait. But we are constructing more courts. We've got 8 more that we're going to build in Between, and then in the new Walnut Grove Park there will be 6 more going in there, including the 4 that we're going to have indoors at Crystal Park. So in total we'll have close to 20 pickleball courts coming soon. It's going to probably take another year to get all those done, but we realize pickleball is really growing sport, and everybody enjoys playing and getting a little exercise while you're doing it. So other than that, we don't have our Walnut Grove Park is probably the only other project that we have going on that we're continually working on each week. We've got several crews out there working as we go. It's probably going to be until next October, November before the entire park is done, but they are going up with the community center now. The concession building's done. By January they'll start laying down the turf athletic field, so you'll start seeing some things going that you can see. Right now there's a lot of stuff going underground, like the sewers and the septic and the water lines, stuff like that you really can't see, but all those things are being done now before we start putting the permanent structures up. I do want to thank the Kiwanis Club of Monroe. They added a small playground there at Crystal Park, so if you go out to Crystal Park right in front of the concession stand, you'll see a small area that was really an eyesore at the park, but we wanted to do something for the younger kids. So this is a 4 and under playground. We took some old turf and turfed that area, and we're going to fence it in and put some shade areas on top of it. So I appreciate the Kiwanis Club donating the playground equipment for that, and I think the parents of that area is where our younger kids normally play anyway, so they usually have younger siblings. Instead of going to the large playground where they might get hurt or older kids are at, they're able to have their own playground. So thank you to the Kiwanis Club of Monroe for donating that. And again, go to our website at waltoncountyga.gov. We'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to Monroe Walton Center for the Arts. We have our regional art show in here right now. This was the best in show. It's chosen by the judge for this show. This is by Julie Briggs. She's a new artist to us. She's a young mom, just fabulous artist. So come see this show. It's here through October 24th. And then we'll be kind of in a transition period. We'll be turning the whole gallery into a Christmas shop. And then that will open on November 1st. Of course, you can come in between that time and still shop and preview and see what we have going on. But do please come in and see this show. Several pieces have already sold. So when you come and you see a little red dot on a tag, that means that piece is sold. But do come. It's just a fabulous show. And it's only here for a couple of more weeks. And then we go into Christmas, which is just unbelievable. So a new thing that we have here is we have a wall where we have posters set up with all of our classes. Not all of them. I'm telling y'all, we have so many classes right now. In October, it's just exploded. So I don't even have enough room on my little wall that has the classes on it for everything we have going on. But we've created these little posters. So if you come in to the main lobby area, you can see these, and of course you can click with your camera on these QR codes. It will take you to the registration for more information if you want it. But of course we have Fall Fest coming up this October 12th. We'll be here. We'll have some concessions here. We'll have pop-up shops out front with our artists. We'll have also some artists in the garden. We'll have some workshops. We'll have 2 workshops. We'll have a pottery workshop, making a mummy, a votive candle holder, and then a collage workshop. So, and they're both drop-in, so easy and fun. Just come in and see what we have going on. If you want to make something, you're welcome to stay and make something. So that is, of course, October 12th. And then on the 19th, we're having a barbecue fundraiser for our pottery studio. If you wonder why we do that so often, our pottery studio sees 60 plus students every month, more than that probably. Over the course of the month, many times over that. So the kilns are in constant use. They have to be repaired. We're replacing one of the kilns, so there's equipment, there's tools that constantly have to be replaced or repaired. And so we have to have these fundraisers so that our pottery classes are affordable and also giving you some really, really good homemade food. So that is coming up on October 19th. And as a companion workshop for that day, we'll be having this monster mug workshop with Rebecca. On New with Us is a kids mini camp during fall break. If you're interested in that, it's during the Walton County fall break from October 14th through 18th. Need to register soon because we're going to cut off registration by the end of the week. And so we need people to go ahead and be registered. Another new offering that we have is a homeschool art day. And that will be kind of an art club, and we'll have the kids separated by different ages. and it'll be once a month to start with. If it catches on, we may do it more often than that, but right now it's going to be on the first Monday of the month. You do need to pre-register. Of course, everything is either on these posters. You can come in and register. You can register online. You can go to our website, monroewaltonarts.org, and see what we have going on. This is our art party with Donna. She's concentrating right now mostly on watercolors, and this one is in October. It's October 18th from 7 to 9 p.m. You can bring some wine if you'd like to, a snack to share with other people. It's a lot of fun, very relaxed. And she's doing these feather watercolor wreaths on October 25th, almost done. On October 25th, Jennifer is having her paint party. She does acrylics. Hers is more the typical paint along where you have a specific project. You can tailor it with the colors that you choose and make it your own. But for October, she's doing this little ghost that's in the forest, just real sweet, cute. So come and see what we have going on a lot, honestly, in October, and then we're gearing up for Christmas and going to present to you a great gift gallery for Christmas time. But don't miss this show. That's probably my most important point. Is this is our regional show. This is more of our fine art, really beautiful, beautiful pieces in the show. So come see us. Thank you.
I call it murder and mayhem because that's catchy, and there is some murder and some justifiable homicide and some self-defense, but there's a lot of mayhem. I mean, there's a couple of these stories that are absolutely unbelievable. You know what they say, truth is stranger than fiction. That's kind of how this works out. I'm Steve Brown, historian for the Monroe Museum, and I have this nice group of people, and we're about to take a walk and talk about murder and mayhem in Monroe, Georgia. This building, which is in the process of being remodeled, but more than the building, the location. So before 1900, Mr. Billington Sanders Walker, who built and lived in the two-story white house at the corner of Davis Street and South Broad Street. He was the father of Governor Clifford Walker, and his daughter, whose name escapes me, married Bob McWhirter, the University of Georgia's first All-American. But anyway, he built an opera house, and it was on North Broad. If you know where the tattoo parlor is, last time you got a tattoo. Actually, there are three stores there: the Italian restaurant, the tattoo parlor, and another store, and they're all three in one building. And he built an opera house there. Well, the opera house was a two-story wooden building, and it had three businesses downstairs, and upstairs was just an open hall where they had entertainment. I doubt very seriously if anybody ever sung opera up there, but they would have traveling shows, acts, things like that upstairs. Well, about 1900, Mr. Walker decided that he was going to build a brick building there, and which is the one that's there now. And he sold that opera house to Mr. Coleman Mobley, who was president of the mill. And Mr. Coleman Mobley took the two-story building, moved it down Broad Street and down Court Street and put it right here. And it was the same purpose here. It had shops downstairs and a hall upstairs. I do remember at one time there was a tinsmith that had a shop downstairs. And Mr. Walker built the three buildings, the brick building with the three storefronts that's there now. Actually, if you pull the tattoo parlor sign off of the building, it says behind there in brick, B.S. Walker Block. So the Opera House sat here, same thing. Now, one thing add to that, when it was here, it was one of the first places that motion pictures were shown in Monroe. You'd have these men who traveled with a projector, and they'd come to town and put out bills about what they were going to show, and people would show up and they show these little short motion pictures. So the Opera House stayed here from just after 1900 until 1930. In 1930, Bob Nowell, for whom the Nowell Recreation Center is named, bought the property along with a partner whose name I can't think of. Anyway, they tore the Opera House down and they built the Cherokee Theater, which was a motion picture theater. Now that was the second dedicated movie theater in Monroe. The first being the Elite Theater, which was right, if you walk through this building to the other side of Broad Street, there was an engineering company in that building. I don't know if they're still there or something else is there. But that was Monroe's first movie theater. It was built and maintained for that purpose. Cherokee Theater was the second. Cherokee Theater stayed here. Bob Nowell sold it in 1940 to Troy Thomason. Troy Thomason also bought the lot at the corner of Washington and Broad Street and built the Troy Theater, named for himself. We have a huge exhibit in the museum about movies in Monroe. Got a picture of the interior of the Troy Theater. Hugo's sitting on the front row. Hugo actually gave us the pictures. It was made in 1947. I was born in 1947.
Well, not to interrupt you, I used to go to the Cherokee Theater and see every movie. Same with the Troy. I delivered circulars, so I got in free. So I saw every movie that it was in Monroe in the early 40s.
So
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, I love stuff like that. And then Randall's brother was a projectionist.
Started when he was 12 years old.
Yeah, he used to burn up the film over there.
But anyway, the Cherokee Theater went out of business in around 1955-56, and it was torn down, and this building was built here then. And the Troy Theater stayed until, I believe, 1967. It burned. That was the end. That was the last picture show. So I just thought I'd throw that in. All right, let's keep going across here. Something else doesn't have to do with murder, but I can't pass this up. This is our beautiful courthouse built in 1883. This is the fourth courthouse. The first courthouse was a log building, two-story log building. I think they paid the guy $50 to build it. And we don't know for sure that it was on this lot, but it probably was. And then the second courthouse, built in 1823, was a brick courthouse. And it was here. It was 2 stories. And it was probably closer to Broad Street than this is. And that lasted until 1841. And they built another, larger, 2-story brick courthouse, which stayed here until this one was built in 1883. And how many of y'all have ever been in this courthouse? Oh, well, that's great. Everybody. It's a beautiful building. I had a group the other day, I think one person, the whole group had ever been in there. we're trying to get put together a program. I'm gonna see if we can have it in the courthouse. I don't know how they'll. Used to have everything in the courthouse. All right, so now on to murder. Our first incident takes place in 1825, which was shortly after Monroe was chartered in 1821, and it happened right across the street over here. Involved two individuals, Levi White, who is what we would call a gentleman farmer. He was fairly well-to-do and had a large farm that he farmed and had recently moved to Walton County, and Mr. Swords. So Levi White and Mr. Swords, who we don't know his first name, it was in the fall, an election was coming up for governor, and they got in a conversation about who should be elected governor, and they were on opposite sides of that conversation. So anyway, they got, I say, kind of an argument started, and then they split up, and they went to stores in town. Now, I have to tell you, the word store was a little iffy, because usually a store was a saloon. So you could go in almost every door in town and get a drink. And apparently that's what they did, or maybe that's what they did. Later in the day, they got together in a store, and the argument escalated to the point that Levi White took a knife out and grabbed Mr. Swords by the hair, pulled his head back, and cut his throat, and dropped him in a pool of blood in the store. He was immediately arrested, put in chains, and locked up. Mr. Swords was a very well-liked person in the community, and they were concerned that a mob would take Levi White out of jail and hang him, or lynch him. And so they put 12 guards around the jail to protect him until his trial. Trial date came. It was not a long trial. The jury came back with a verdict of guilty, and I'm going to take time now and read you what the judge said. Levi White was sentenced to die on Friday, the 31st of March, between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. on a gallows to be erected for that purpose in the vicinity of the village of Monroe, where you shall be hanged by the neck until you are dead, and may the God of heaven have mercy on your soul. Well, that sounds just justifiable, I guess, but it never happened. He was never hung. He went back to farming, and, and this is the mayhem part. Nobody knows why. I've never been able to find anything in newspapers or anything else about why he escaped the gallows, but he did. He was never hung. Nothing ever happened to him. He just went back to living. All right. Our next incident is really the weirdest one, and I'd like to go to the back of the courthouse. Let's go this way and see if we can get away from it. 1882, and there was two men, Henry Curry and Powell Reed, and they apparently were in love with the same lady. Her name was Carolyn Harris. The Atlanta Constitution describes her as a lady of questionable character. So Mr. Curry and Mr. Reed were spending the night at Carolyn Harris's house. And this is kind of strange, but they were sleeping together. She was in another room. And it came down to this, that neither one trusted the other, and so it was a thing like, well, whoever wakes up first is gonna kill the other one, and that's what happened. Henry Curry woke up first, and thinking if he waited around that Powell Reed would kill him, and so he got an axe and whacked Powell Reed in the head and killed him. Doesn't say that he cut his head off, just with an axe. I doubt it made any difference. And then he took off on the lam to South Carolina and joined the circus. I told you, you can't make this stuff up. But one of his other girlfriends in Atlanta told on him. And so the police went to South Carolina. They got him, they brought him back here, and they put him in jail. And at that time, the jail was right back here. They were building this courthouse. And the jail the old jail was about 3 feet from the back of the courthouse. Now this part right here was added on. The courthouse used to be cut off. There's 2 rooms that were added later. But anyway, he's in jail, and so he gets a friend one night to come by and hands him some matches through the window. He pulls boards off the ceiling of the jail and sets the jail on fire with the intent of escaping. Well, somebody happened by and saw the fire, and they called. We didn't, really we didn't have a fire truck or anything, but they got a bucket brigade and they put the fire out. But the jail was damaged rather severely, and so the sheriff moved. I get these 2 mixed up a lot. Yeah. Curry moved Curry and the other prisoners to Fulton County, to the jail. And Curry had developed remorse for what he had done, apparently, and tried to commit suicide at the Fulton County jail by diving off the stairwell. But it didn't work. He didn't die. He just hurt himself. They brought him back to Monroe, scheduled his execution, and indeed he was executed while there were over 3,000 people there to watch him being hung. So justice was served in that situation. All right, let's see. We're going to talk now about we're going to move to 1893. And again, right across the street, we think probably where your pie is, Oscar Carter had a saloon. And it was Christmas Eve, 1893, and apparently Oscar had consumed a good bit of his inventory. And so he came out the front door and started shooting to celebrate Christmas, I guess, and they couldn't get him to stop. And so, got a picture here. This is Claude Arnold, who was sheriff at the time, my cousin. And Claude and John Galloway started trying to come at Oscar from 2 directions with the object of containing him and getting him to stop shooting. But it got down to the point where it was either him or them, and one of them shot and killed him. It was probably John Galloway that killed him, but my cousin Claude said he did because he was the sheriff, and they figured they wouldn't do anything to him for that, and that was right, they didn't. Oscar Carter is famous also for something else. In the 1880s, a circus went bankrupt in Monroe, and they sold everything in the circus on the courthouse steps. And amongst the acts that were part of the circus was an elephant named Empress, and she was sold to a man in Chicago, and they had to get her to Atlanta to put her on the train to get her to Chicago. And Oscar he had a corral behind his saloon, and he let them keep Empress in his corral overnight. The next day they had hired a man to walk the elephant to Atlanta, which they did. They stopped in, I believe it was Loganville, overnight, and the elephant stayed in a blacksmith shop. And it was in the winter, and apparently elephants are very sensitive to cold weather, so they had to keep her somewhere that was warm. So they spent the night in the blacksmith shop. But finally made it to Atlanta, put her on the train, and she went to Chicago, where she lived a fruitful life, I'm sure. All right. Okay, we need to go to the other side of the building. Let's see if we can do that. This is 1908, murder and perjury. So there were 2 men, J.H. Bowen and Olin Thomason, who was actually the brother of Troy Thomason, who built the theater there. And they were neighbors, they were friends. And Mr. Bowen worked right here. This building and this building was the Walton Trading Company. They sold wagons, buggies, and organs. This building was not here. This was an alley. It was called Arnold's Alley. Went through the Broad Street. So they got in a disagreement in this building. We don't know what it was about. We think it might have been about food for horses or cows or something. Anyway, the argument moved to Broad Street. Mr. Bowen had a pistol, but Mr. Thomason wound up with the pistol and killed Mr. Bowen on Broad Street. Policeman was there. He was arrested immediately. Can y'all hear me? Yeah. All right. And he was taken to jail. They had a trial where several people testified that it was self-defense, that Bowen had drawn the pistol on him and he had taken it away and killed him. And so there was a mistrial, and then they tried him again and they acquitted him. Well, shortly after his acquittal, soon-to-be Governor Clifford Walker, who was a lawyer at the time, got involved, and it came to light that the people who had testified, Mr. Thomason, had perjured himself. He paid them to say that. Well, they arrested two of the witnesses on perjury charges, but by then Thomason and one of the witnesses had skipped town. They couldn't find him. So I think the governor put like a $2,000 reward out across the country, and it was not long till they got word from Kansas City that they had Thomason and the other guy in jail there, waiting for the Walton County officials to pick them up. So the sheriff went out there to get them, but it wasn't them. It was two other guys trying to get a free ride back to Monroe. and they never found Thomason. Another story, and this is about my cousin Claude. He went to Texas and Oklahoma after a fugitive one time, and when he got out there, the guy he was looking for had been elected to the legislature in Oklahoma. So anyway, they couldn't retry Thomason for the same thing anyway, but his wife, Myrtle Bowen, had a hat shop right here where the row is. Actually where their little walk-up window is in that second storefront. And they had a daughter named Martha. Martha was the first person to be baptized in the Baptist church that's there now. She went on to Agnes Scott, graduated from Monroe as valedictorian, went on to Agnes Scott, and died of appendicitis when she was a sophomore. So Martha had a pretty bad life. She lost her husband and her daughter there just within a few years of each other. All right, we're going to step right up here. So this building at one time was a two-story building, and there was an office upstairs which was the first location of the Bank of Monroe. They later built the bank here, and then they moved into this building later on. At one time, if you know Harry Brown, the Brown Oil Company down here, his father had a filling station right here, and he was good friends with Lewis Howard. I don't know if you can see this picture or not. So wait, let me see the date. 1936. So in 1936, Lewis Howard, who was on the Monroe Police Force, was over here at Harry Brown service station. This car pulled up, and a guy jumped out of the car and came inside and said, "These guys are gonna rob your filling station." And so Lewis Howard goes out there, and did something that he probably regretted the rest of his life. He pulled the back door open, and the guy pulled out a double-barrel shotgun, and Lewis grabbed it by the barrel, and the guy pulled both triggers and shot him in the stomach. But that didn't keep him from emptying his revolver in the guy and killing him. But Lewis was seriously wounded. Next door, right down the street, was Harrelson's garage, I believe, and they had a flatbed truck. So they picked Lewis Howard up, put him on that truck, and carried him to the hospital, which this time was where the fire department is now. It was in a two-story house there, the Ellis House, what it was. Well, shortly before that, Philip Stewart had arrived in town. He was a doctor and had training in surgery, which was not that prevalent at that time. And so he is credited with saving Lewis Howard's life. So, and Lewis lived to go on and become sheriff. He and Doc Sarles used to trade off being sheriff and deputy sheriff about every 2 or 4 years whenever the election was. And he's also the grandfather of our present Mayor John Howard. So, and that's it. The end.
Watching. I'm Dina Huff. I'm the executive director for the Partnership for Families Charity, and I'm here today at Faith in Serving Humanity with my bestest friend Cindy Little, executive director of FISH, and this is our third day of collecting donated items for the hurricane relief victims. So I'm going to let Cindy tell you a little bit about what has come in, what's gone out, and what is still to come. So Cindy?
Okay, first of all, thank you to the community. It has been overwhelming how much has been brought. It's just a steady stream, which we're very thankful for. We've already sent one truckload out yesterday with IMAC. We want to thank them for coming and getting that. And we're setting up to get a second load out. So that load is going down south to the folks in South Georgia. A lot of people don't understand the magnitude of what's happened. A lot of it's because we just can't get our heads wrapped around it, but farmers have lost thousands of acres of cotton crops, acres of pine trees. A lot of people don't consider pine trees as farming, but it is. And a lot of times that farmer can't insure pine trees. So we also heard of a friend of my husband's that had 20 chicken houses that were all leveled. That's millions of dollars gone for him. So, and that's just a little bit of what we see. And then when you go up to North Carolina, bless their little hearts, I mean, everything's just leveled. So when you ask, say, well, Cindy, what do they need? They need everything. So basically what we're listening is as we get the word, they're needing tents, they're needing charcoal, they're needing lighter fluid, they're needing baby diapers, baby formula, they're needing wipes and things like that, pop-top cans, because guys, they don't have can openers. There's, it's not anything like that. Protein bars, work gloves, as they do start rebuilding they're going to need
First aid kits.
first aid kits, definitely. One of the things they're asking for is chewable Benadryl.
Yeah.
Because of the different things that they're dealing with through now the mold and things that are starting, because it's still staying pretty warm. So blankets are really good. They're saying no clothes. We learned through our efforts through Katrina, through Houston, and different places that we've helped before, that they say what happens is those items end up in the landfill. And so please hang on to your clothes. But if you have any kind of sleeping bags, blankets, those kinds of things, they definitely could use. So I'm just in awe of how generous everybody is. We were spared, and I think it's appropriate that those of us that were blessed to not get hit with it are the ones to help those that did get such devastation. We know God's in control. We know He loves us, and He says He'll never leave us nor forsake us. We cling to that. We pray for our friends, and that as they're trying to find family members and things, and the devastation and the loss of life, which is the worst part of it all. Whole families just wiped out. So continue with the prayers that they're priceless. These families have got a long way to go, and just pray for the helicopters that have been fantastic going in and dropping insulin to people, dropping supplies to people, airlifting people off what's left of their homes. We just pray for their safety. Pray for those that are taking their pack mules and things to get to people that they can't get to. They're on four-wheelers. Some families are having to hike 11 miles just to get up and check on their mom and dad. And so just so many wonderful things are happening, but at the same time, a whole lot of devastation. So thank you guys for all that you're doing. And we have a beautiful community here, a very giving community. And on behalf of FISH and the partnership, we say thank you and God bless.
Thank you all for showing up and showing out, because
Yes.
we've been working hard, but it's been worth it. It's been so worth it
Absolutely.
to work alongside of all of our partners that just come together when we have situations such as this. And we want to go, we want to help, but this is how we can help right now.
Yeah.
So we'll find out what we can do later as well. So thank you all. I mean, it's so appreciative to know that you have a community that comes together in times of need like this. So
Absolutely.
we love you and we appreciate you.
Yes.
So thank you. And if you ever have any needs or questions for us at the partnership, you can always give me a call on my direct line. It's 770-207-3175. Or if you ever have any questions for FISH, reach out. They have a wonderful website you can go to, and you can volunteer even when there's not a disaster happening. They need volunteers consistently, every day,
Yes.
daily, because they get donations of household goods and other things, and just need volunteers in every aspect of the FISH ministry.
Hands and feet.
Thank you, Cindy, for all that you do.
Well, thank you, Dina. Dina's been here working tirelessly these 2 days, and it's hot. But, that's nothing to what our friends in North Carolina and South Georgia are having to go through. So, God bless you guys, and thanks again.
Yes, thank you for watching.
Chris Domine is a husband and a father. Chris is an athlete. Chris is even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris was facing a very different story because his kidneys were failing.
Basically, the doctor said, if you don't get a kidney transplant and if you don't do dialysis, you are going to die.
Fortunately, Chris received a second chance at life, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes, from loss of hope to better times ahead.
More than 100 million people in America are registered organ, eye, and tissue donors. People of every age and ethnicity, because they believe it's the right thing to do. Imagine what you can make possible by leaving behind the gift of life. Learn more and sign up as an organ, eye, and tissue donor. Go to organdonor.gov.
This is where you can hear from the community and those making a difference. We explore topics, local festivals, arts and entertainment, and local news. For this program and much more, visit us online at yourlocalstream.com. That's yourlocalstream.com.